We're live.
Well, hello world, and welcome to the KeyLargo Ormus group, where we have just finished the Ormus group program, and we've come back for a short period of time so that we can see Ormus collection processes being done. So we decided to use this time to create a video so that you can join us and see the processes being done. Because while the Ormus group is here so that we have gratitude that we know about Ormus, and we're able to have fellowship, and we're able to learn from each other's experiences, the missing piece is being able to collect it for ourselves so that we're just not creating consumers, but we're actually empowered. So in this segment, we're going to collect via the live oil process. And what we're going to collect is Ormus. Now, what is Ormus? Ormus is beneficial essential nutrients. They are trace elements. At their core, what they are trace elements from the source material. And those trace elements get into our body, which is undernourished from trace elements from many reasons in our latter-day lifestyles and ways of creating foodstuffs from the soil on up. So we're remineralizing ourselves with these trace elements. There's also another element to Ormus, which you can either choose to go down that path towards some measures of understanding, or just say, hey, I'm bringing in trace elements, I'm happy to do that. And that is that there is some thoughts that Ormus feeds our spirit, the who we are inside, that there's a quantum physics aspect to the Ormus material. At its core, what that means, and you don't have to get all involved in this, but it is nice to have sound bites, is that every element on the periodic table, which is all the elements in the world, have different states. We know them, for example, water. There's a water state, there's an ice state, there's a steam state, but there's also another state of water, one that we can't see, but one that exists, and that would be the quantum state. It's a state that's working actually in a different frequency than what we're living in, but it is interfacing with the spirit that's in us, because the spirit that is in us is also at that different frequency. It's married to the flesh, but the flesh isn't who I am. I am the spirit that is residing within. So when we bring the Ormus material into our body, we're bringing the elements in that next state that is not anything to do with the three-dimensional 3D state. So we're ingesting the vital elements, the vital minerals in both the 3D state that helps the physical body, the organs and the glands and the brain, but also in the fourth quantum state that feeds the spirit that is us. And that would be the state that you see when you take an auric image and you see some sort of energy around me. That energy around me is interfacing with the state of the elements that we're taking in the Ormus material. I know that was a lot, but it is just fun to categorize, put away, and just be happy that you're bringing minerals into your life because you have an undernourished state. This process is the easiest Ormus collection process that there is. And so I'm going to show it for you guys so you can always do it. I want to tell you a few things. The process is called a live oil process because we're going to infuse oil with Ormus. And in doing that, we consider it a live oil. It's energized. The live oil process is detailed in this book along with 12 other collection processes. This is actually your reference book for Ormus collection processes and also a bit about Ormus. It's called Ormus Modern Day Alchemy, and you can get your own copy at ormusbooks.com, ormusbook.com, and Amazon. If you're in any way of an Ormus seeker, you need this book. These are time-honored Ormus collection processes. They work. There's 13 altogether, also information about Ormus. To make your life easier, I did create a live oil collection kit. Everything that you need is in this kit. It's something to get you started, so it's right here. You put it together and you're done. There are those who say, because everything in this world is a frequency, if I make something, I don't care if it's a cake or an omelet, I've added my frequency. And in fact, sometimes if you'll recall, if you have a grandmother like I did, an Italian grandmother, her food was so tasty that all I could think of was that part of her love, her frequency, went into the food. And so in that concept, that's why it is good that you learn to collect Ormus for yourself and not always buy it from providers. You're adding your own frequency. So I created this kit that gives everything that you need to do a live oil process. And I called it the Basics Do-It-Yourself Ormus Live Oil Kit. I have made sure that the Ormus source material in here does contain Ormus. So it is certified by Chris Emmons, myself, a pharmacist who wrote the book for you and me, Ormus Modern Day Alchemy. I created this for you to make your walk into your own Ormus journey that much smoother. You can also find how to collect via the live oil process on the internet. So you can look up for recipes on the internet. I always caution just that if you be sure that who you're listening to has good credentials, or somebody that you're comfortable is not leading you in any way astray. One of those internet sites is called subtleenergies.com. So without ado, let me show you the live oil process and get you started. I'll be using the Basics kit, the Do-It-Yourself Live Oil Process Kit. It contains directions. It contains the what is Ormus information. It contains grapeseed oil, and it contains Himalayan salt. This Himalayan salt has been certified by Christine Emmons as containing Ormus, which means I've done a process on it, and there is Ormus in it. That's very important. You cannot just use any of these source salts and expect there's going to be Ormus in them. You have to do a process on the salt first to confirm there's Ormus in there, and that process would be called a wet process. So without further ado, would somebody in the KeyLargo Ormus group read out the directions from the Basics Do-It-Yourself Live Oil Kit?
I'll go ahead and I'll do that. So use only the Emmons Essential Essence Certified Ormus Source Himalayan Salt in the blue bottle and the certified 100% grapeseed oil in the clear bottle. Both bottles are housed in a very special mylar pouch where you will store your final product. Okay. Pour the oil from the clear bottle into the blue bottle until the oil is even with the top of the blue bottle. Then, cap the blue bottle, now containing the salt and oil mixture, and shake well for a few minutes. After you place the blue bottle into the mylar pouch, away from light, high humidity, and at room temperature. After settling, the live oil process is considered complete and ready to use.
See how simple that was. There's a couple things I do want to stress though. It ain't going to work if you didn't have Ormus in the salt. So you've got to do a wet process on the salt to confirm that you've got Ormus in that salt. Let me tell you why we think that this process works. And let me also mention that this Basics kit, You can buy this Basics kit at the website basics.com. FACEICS.com. I also have an Ormus product there that is really good for the face called Basics. And so I put this on the same website. We believe that this works because likes attract likes. I'll give you an example. Kool-Aid packets. If you have a Kool-Aid packet, it says to put it in 2 quarts. Would you use 2 quarts of cooking oil? Would you use 2 quarts of water?
Yes.
That's the likes philosophy or principle. The Kool-Aid is dissolvable in water. It is not dissolvable in oil. If you have an oily product like sardines, okay, I've got sardines in the can, and I want to have a flavored product to put over some vegetables. Would I take the sardine oil that's in the can and would I add it to water? They wouldn't mix. You have an oil and a water. Would I add it to an oil, like olive oil? Yes, because likes like likes. So an oil's going to go to an oil. That's the theory behind the live oil process. When you have a good salt that's live, I'll say a live salt because it came right there out of the sea, such as Celtic sea salt, which is also called gray salt. If you touch that, it's actually got a heaviness to it that has nothing to do with water. It actually feels a little greasy because we feel that the salt molecule inside is a huge space inside the salt molecule, and the Ormus is hiding in there. And when it's in the salt molecule hiding from the electromagnetic fields of the earth, of what we create in our life, the sunlight, the UV radiation, it's hiding in the salt structure. When it's in there, it is in the 100% oil form. Ormus isn't oil. So if I take the salt that contains what we feel is the Ormus in an oil form, and I add an oil to it, then the oil is going to go to the oil. And now the oil and the salt will go into the grapeseed oil. Remember, it was in the salt because it was acting as a crystalline structure protecting the Ormus from EMFs that disturb it. And I've given it a way to leave the salt and go into its own kind, into oil. This means the Ormus that would be in here is free. It's free to stay. It's free to leave. It's not bound up in a crystalline form. That is why it's very important that when you make your Ormus oil, you put it in the Mylar bag. You don't put it on a windowsill where there's a lot of sun, because you don't want to stress the Ormus that is in this oil, because it will leave. And hence you hear stories about Ormus that have left. Now you understand. If it's stressed, it's not going to stay around. So when you make your choices of your salts and your oils, you can choose any type of oil that you want. Choose a salt that you know has Ormus in it by doing an Ormus process on it called the wet process. And this is so important. You do not hear people talking about this on Facebook. They just say, I added oil to this salt and I got, how did you know it had Ormus in it? So it is easy, but if this doesn't contain Ormus to begin with, then it's futile. So it behooves you to learn the wet process so you can make sure you get a drop of Ormus so you know it was in there. Now, as far as the oil, we believe that grapeseed oil is such an energetic oil with Ormus to begin with that it can be considered an Ormus product itself. Okay, that's why I chose grapeseed oil. It also has got the ability that grapeseed oil you can put on your skin topically. You can also use it as a finishing oil and eat it. So you can put it on your salads or your vegetables, or if you're having hamburger, you drizzle it over your meat. Okay, and so finishing oil means you don't heat it.
Right.
So if you make this live oil from the Basics Do-It-Yourself Live Oil Kit, then by definition, you know that grapeseed oil can be ingested. So you can use it topically and internally. In either case, you're bringing the Ormus into your life and into your body, either topically or internally. It's a very quick process, and now that you know about it, you can start learning the wet process, confirm your salt has it, and have as much live oil as you possibly could desire. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you the next go around at an Ormus group. And consider being your own local Ormus group facilitator. Go to ormusgroups.com to see how you can do that. See ya!